Okay, we're gonna try this again, y'all. Hello, 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 hello. I am going ahead now and getting, there we go, here we go. But here we go. I just sent the invite. And hello, loyals. Hello, loyals. Hi, how are
Hey, how
you?
you doing?
I am so excited
Can you,
for this interview, and I do thank you for taking the time out.
no problem.
Now, first and foremost, I would like to thank your brother, Father MC, for connecting us and linking this, for letting this meeting happen. So I
Okay.
appreciate him. And thank you, Father MC, because I had him on a few weeks ago, and he's just funny and hilarious.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, how did your premiere go? Didn't you have something just a few minutes ago?
No, actually, we may not have a traditional premiere because of COVID.
Okay.
The show is Sunday, April 18th. So we're still trying to figure certain things out because of COVID. Everything may have to be virtual.
Okay, I do understand that. And yes, that's why I was trying to get you on before season 2 because I already have it in my phone. I post it as much as possible because I love the storyline. And I don't know if people you want to say I'm a mobster, his I love the research on them, like Al Capone, things to that nature. But when I seen you did this one, I was like, oh yes, now we're hearing from the African American aspect of, and on top of that, showing a different side as
Yeah.
well.
Yep.
So I love it. I love it. It's not just about the gangster, but you're showing him as a person. You're showing what he
Yeah.
did for
Yeah.
the community.
Actually, the log line for the project is like when we were selling it, it's the collision of civil rights and the underworld. So it's not just a mob story, but it's a mob story with the relationship with civil rights and things of that sort. So it's not your Goodfellas, it's not your mobsters or your traditional mob narratives. It's really about the relationship between a mobster who was Bumpy Johnson and the Italians and civil rights leaders.
And I love it. I love it. So, for the ones that may not know you, introduce yourself, King.
My name is Markuann Smith. Uh, I'm an actor, executive producer, uh, one of the initiators and creators behind the Godfather of Harlem. It took a team of us to get this done, but the story comes from me being the heartbeat. My godmother's Margaret Johnson, who was living in Lenox Terrace at the time, who passed away December 16, 2016. And yeah, that's me in a whole. I started off in the music industry, traveling with my older brother, Father MC. And I think our first tour was Candyman Troop, High Five, Second to None, AMG, DJ Quick. He was responsible of taking me around the world and showing me a different light. You know, Coming from Harlem to Far Rockaway, Queens was really a big transition, and that was one of the transitions of being in Far Rockaway. It's not really too much things for someone at my age to do. So, Father, took me on tour with him.
Now, I do understand, and that's great. Now, him being the big brother and seeing that he needs to keep you under his wing and everything. With the situation occurring for him to do that for you regarding the juvenile system, things to
Yeah,
that nature.
I was I was basically, to be honest with you, I was getting in a lot of trouble running through, being in DFY, hopping in and out of Spofford, Lincoln Hall, Beach House, all the things that inner city kids go through, and they may have to graduate from there, and then you go to Rikers Island. From Rikers Island, you go upstate. There was a book that I read called Man Child in the Promised Land by Claude Brown, And in order for you to get a furlough or even come home on a visit, my counselor had me read that book. And I always knew, my brother was always, he was working at Kentucky Fried Chicken at the time, and they called him the Chicken Man. But he was the fly chicken guy. He would come out with flour all over his clothes. But after he punched out and he showered up, he had silk shirts and he had ballies on. And his dream was to become a rapper, and that's exactly what he did. And just following his lead, and him just believing in his dream. I remember just taking an A train and drinking 40 ounces 2-3 in the morning, coming back to Far Rockaway, which is the last stop on the A, eating that Chinese rice with the red sauce with the red cups. It was just an experience, and I just knew that the way that I was going was not the only way.
Yes, and that's a beautiful thing because I'm from Long Island, Huntington. So
Oh,
I know about those train rides, and now my mother lives in Shirley, so that's a longer train ride.
yeah, yeah.
So some people in the chat saying, "Congratulations, my brother. Go, Mark. Congratulations, Mark. Let's go, Mark." That's Ron.
Thank, I
He's the
appreciate it.
CEO.
Yeah, thank you.
So we see the interviews, but tell us some fun facts about you. Tell us you.
Well, if anybody really knows me, like, people know me as Markuann, but if you really know me, then you know me as Silk. That's my nickname. I got that growing up. Also, I'm a sneakerhead. I love sneakers. I love clothes. I love fashion. I've always been that type of person. I love music as well. I'm real big about creating, and I love to read as well too.
Okay, so let's ask, what type of books and besides fiction and things of that nature, what grabs you?
I like true stories. I like reading about narratives of people, what they go through. Like real things that could affect you. You know, uh, like I said, like the man child in the promised land. I love that, man. That was like something that was really like it. To this day, I love that book. Um,
Okay.
any true life story and true life experiences, I really like that.
Okay. And didn't they also like to call you Silk when you're on the stage, the hype man for Father
Yeah,
MC and
absolutely.
Diddy?
Like I said, if anybody knows me, anybody that calls me right name by Marquand, it's more than likely we just met recently. Like if you knew me, you knew me as Silk. That was my nickname. Father used to call me that because he said that I was smooth with the girls or whatever like that. And yeah, it was a rough time growing up in Far Rockaway, but it was also a time to educate yourself and just let yourself know that you know what, this is not what I want to do, this is not where I want to go, and this is not where I want to be.
Hmm. Now we have a question in the chat. I love music. Favorite group or singer? And what is the best era of music?
The best era of music to me, I think I really like that. I really like the late '80s, that New Jack Swing era. And I also love the era when people wanted to dance. When you listen to Cheryl Lynn or Gwen Guthrie or Patrice Rushen or Minnie Riperton. I have an old soul. I love old school music.
Oh, I do too. I grew up with my parents playing that Friday and Saturdays, family gatherings and the cookouts. I miss all of that. Now
Yeah,
with COVID, everything is so different. It's sad though.
yeah,
But
it
the
is.
stylistics, the whispers.
Yeah, yeah. And I love the era. Like I see one of my friends, and I'm looking at the people typing like my boy Emo. Uh, like Ed Morales, like he's one of the dopest dancers I ever seen, man. He used to dance with Mariah Carey, a whole bunch of. This is like you got to really know the era of the '90s and the '80s, just growing up, like going to clubs and just dancing and just enjoying yourself. It wasn't really no mean mugging or anything like that. That's when music was fun to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I agree. And then the house parties when the
Yeah,
lights go out and
yeah.
what you may pay $5 to get in the door, but everything else, yeah, I miss that.
The red light specials, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yes, I miss it all. Now, how's it going with the city of Oakland? Are you still working on that? Is that coming soon?
I have a bunch of projects that I've been developing ever since 2017, 2018. And it's just about right now I'm looking for a place that I can call home, whether it's a Universal or a Sony or Warner or a Fox, where I could develop good content and we could tell our stories. So those stories I'm definitely working on and definitely attempting to sell.
Okay. Have you tried to reach out to Tyler Perry?
Well, it's see one thing about me as we are creators is all about creating your own lane and your own narrative,
Hmm.
and that's what I'm trying to do. I respect what Tyler Perry is doing, but the thing is for you to I call myself a Kyrie Irving. I'm not trying to be under LeBron James. I'm trying to create my own path and create my own lane. You feel what I'm saying? You know,
I
everybody.
respect that.
Daniels, Lee Daniels has his lane. Will Packer has his lane. Tyler Perry has his lane. Now it's for me to create my own lane. And you know, Godfather of Harlem is one of the. Trust me, I just begun. Trust me.
Yes. Now it took you from the research 18 years, and then it says I wrote down a year and a half with the script.
Yeah, well, it was 18 years in the making because I used to go to Lenox Terrace, and every Sunday I used to sit down with Margaret Johnson, who's like my godmother, and I used to sit up there, and she would tell me these magical moments about Harlem, how she used to walk outside and smell fresh laundry hanging out a tenement window, or walk past the Apollo and see James Brown's name above a marquee, or even walk past Sugar Ray Robinson's barbershop and you'll see Nat King Cole getting a shape up. And the stories are so magical about Harlem, but there was also racism happening in Harlem because it was a bunch of, you know, people migrated from the South, and it wasn't the same Bull Connor South and the hoses and the dogs, but racism was still happening, and it was still prevalent in Harlem at the time. You feel what I'm saying? You know,
Hmm.
an African American may want to purchase a hat. He walks into the hat store that's owned by a white business owner, and he might tell you, "Well, you got to put this shower cap on your head to try this hat on." Or African American family couldn't even get a steak dinner because they had white patrons eating in the back, and you had to have takeout. So all of these things she used to tell me, and then she also used to tell me about her grandfather. His name was Ellsworth Raymond Johnson, who migrated up here from Charleston, South Carolina, and he was the only individual at that time that was able to sit down with the mob. I'm talking about the real mob, the five families like Lucky Luciano, Maya Lansky, Bugsy Siegel, Frank Costello, Vito Genovese. You know, these are the guys that started the families, because you got to understand, Bumpy was born in 1905, October 31st, 1905. So that was the time when, you know, organized crime was happening in the Italian community. But they didn't look at him as being ignorant. They looked at him as they needed him to be the liaison between Pleasant Avenue and West Harlem, or Harlem period. And story was really interesting. And he wasn't just a gangster, but he read Nietzsche, he read Shakespeare. It's even urban legends that he beat Bobby Fischer in chess. So
Mm.
this is that was one of the interesting things that I did like about Bumpy, because he wasn't just a gangster. And you know, his relationship, she used to tell me that Malcolm X used to come up to the house every Sunday and have and play chess, or just sit down and have a meal with them, you know. And it was just very interesting. And like I said, I made her a promise that I would go out there and get this project done, not what you saw in the Cotton Club or Hoodlum or American Gangster, because Bumpy didn't die in front of 20 RCA TVs in an electronics store. He actually died in my character's arms because he had congestive heart failure. He died at this place called Wells. You know, they had the
Mm.
best chicken and waffles in Harlem at the time. So I made her a promise that I would go about trying to get it done. And then, if anybody knows, in Hollywood is not easy. You think the music industry is hard? Television is not easy to go in there and sell $100 million project, because the first thing they want to know is what is their ROI. You're basically asking me to invest in something. How are we going to get this money back? So we had our bumps and bruises, myself and Forrest, and Chris Brancato, who's the creator and the writer. But we were able to get it done. I got turned down by 3 networks, and one network, Epics, who was ran by Michael Wright, who just came from Steven Spielberg's company, Amblin Entertainment, said, you know what, I don't want to be coy about this. I like this project, and he bought it in the room, and that's how it happened. And we're the flagship show of the network. I could say that. We have one of the highest ratings that the network ever had.
But you're doing it. You're doing big things.
Thank
And
you.
one of your friends says, "But you did it, homie. Good luck."
Oh yeah, I mean, people. I tell this. I say, don't look at my breakthrough. Look what I've been through. You feel what I'm saying? People
Amen.
tend, there's people, and it's so funny. I get a lot of DMs and I get a lot of emails about, can you put me on? Could you hook me up? People want a microwave society instead of a marathon. Not to sound cliche, it's like what Nipsey said, but you have to look and see what I've been through. Like, I fight for real estate every day on the show. I had to audition for my own character. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I had to audition. Peace out to my boy Little Sean. He's in the building. I see him. Um, yeah, man. I had to fight for everything. I had to fight for everything from my character to being in a writer's room to research. So when people ask me that, I just look at them side eye. I'm like, yo, I'm still fighting every day, and you expect me to walk you in and say, it's crazy.
Behind the Smokes X,
Oh yeah, you
he
got to get
says,
little.
"I'm proud of you."
You got to get Little Sean on your platform, man. Little Sean used to write for my brother, and he's one of the prolific writers of the '90s, and he got a lot of stuff going on as well with
Oh,
books and
little
stuff.
Sean,
Yeah,
I
you
would
better
love
you
to
need to
have
get
you
him. Yeah,
on.
you need to get him on your platform, definitely.
Oh, I'll inbox him if you're down for it, little Sean. I'm Sunshine is down for it because one thing I love is history. The good, the bad, the ugly, the sweet, the beautiful. I love history. And I keep telling my children, knowledge is power. You cannot let just the school teach our children anything. You need to teach them to go look and find it themselves. I'm
No,
teaching my children now
absolutely.
to be business.
I tell people all the time, man, if you knock an opportunity's door, it doesn't open up, go to Home Depot, get some lumber, and build your own door, and create your own doorknob and open it yourself. Because nobody owes you anything, and that's the thing about people. People think that people owe you. People don't. They don't give a damn. At the end of the day, the network cares about sales. They can say, "Oh, this story was close to your heart. I love what you're doing," but at the end of the day, it's the ROI, your return on investment.
I agree. And I'm happy you're speaking and telling it because being an African American, trying to be in the cinemas and to be on television, you're telling your story, and I appreciate that
No, I
because
was
we need
when I
to
when
know
I when
that.
I when I first got my deal with ABC, they told me on the Disney lot that for me to be in my show and to executive produce it, I might as well get struck by lightning twice. I mean, I was already written out, but when you have people like Chris Brancato and Forrest Whitaker and Jim Atchison and Nina Yang Bon Jovi and Paul Eckstein all by your side, and we're just going out like Voltron. It's like failure is not an option. Like I tell people this, I had to make this work. I didn't have a safety net underneath myself, so if I fall, something would catch me. Forrest can go do, another multi-million dollar movie. Chris could go write another hit TV series. This is all I had, so I had to put more push and inspire everybody to say, "Don't give up. Let's get this going."
Amen. Amen. Now, I agree. Like I send out invites to artists. If they respond, they respond. They don't. I was like, okay, another door. God saying it's not time for them yet. But I do. And your brother was funny. He was like, I like that you were persistent.
Well, that's how. What did your mother say? A closed mouth won't get fed. Like,
Yes.
you have to open, you have to go out there and you have to get yours, and you can't expect anybody to give it to you. You have to go out there and create your own lane. If you're an actor and no one is casting you, create a project that you could be in. and prove to people that what you can do.
Now, here goes some questions from our viewers and some of my friends. What did you learn from producing the first season that you plan to do different this season?
Well, we were forced to do something different this season because of COVID. So um, we had to learn to take what little that was given to us and make it look as big as possible. And I think we did a great job where we were able to make 10 episodes that look like 10 motion pictures. I can't wait for you guys to see it set on this Sunday, April 18th.
Oh, I can't wait either. I'm excited for it. Now, do you believe after your Harlem project getting turned down for 18 years had anything to do with your race?
You know, I wouldn't say. I mean, race did play a part of when the show got picked up, and there's an urban legend that says we don't black people's shows don't do well overseas. That's always been that urban legend, but I never used that as my as a crutch. I just kept it moving. I can't even say it was because of that. The show got
Mhm.
picked up. So I can't even say that. But I know the corporations get scared. They're like, we're investing all this money, and they go in algorithms, and they go in demographics, and they go in the historical. Oh, this show didn't sell in this market. But when I told them about the Black Panther, they said it was an anomaly. So we had to really discuss. It wasn't about race; it was the content of the project. Because if you look at Godfather Harlem, to be real with you, we have a balance of cast. It's diverse. It's not just African Americans. You got Vincent D'Onofrio, who's playing Vinny the Chin. You got Paul Savino. You have Chaz Palminteri. You got Lucy Fry. You got Rafi Cabron. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just an African American show. It's a good
Mhm.
show.
Yes, and I love all those actors. And when I just seen the preview for the beginning of the fellas on the speakeasy was like, Sunshine, you haven't watched it yet? I'm like, I have so many different hats I'm wearing. All right, so I been watched it one weekend and I was hooked. I was like, oh, I gotta get him on the show.
Oh, you binge watched it?
I been watched it. When
Okay.
I tell you I ordered pizza, when I been watched it. That weekend was silence. I'm watching this. I was taking notes. I love it. One, I learned how to play chess with my sixth grade teacher in elementary school. So now we taught our boys. So they know how to play chess. My youngest is 10. He learned how to play chess at 8. So we play chess, we teach them the dynamics of not just being behind the gaming. No, you're going to learn the streets. You're going to learn chess. You're going to learn how to read and dissect things. Listen to the music, but dissect it, get it, grasp it, things to that nature. And I try to make them multi diverse in everything.
I understand what you're saying because a lot of people say they want to be directors and producers or actors, but you have to study your craft. You have to go out there. If you got to go to Barnes and Nobles and get producing for dummies or writing for dummies or acting for dummies, learn your craft because when you put in front of that audience, if you don't know what you're doing, they'll show it'll show. And it's just not about going in front of a camera and just saying your lines. It's about different angles. If you got a 50 lens on you, a 65 lens on you, when you have to bring down your character or bring it back up, you know, um, learn the lingo when they're going to do push-ins on you, when they're going to pan out, things of that sort. That really helps you learn your craft. It makes people really want to work with you.
Now, Trey asks, what was your
Oh, that's
feeling
my
when you
cousin.
what was your feeling when you first got the word that it was a done deal?
To be honest with you, it was kind of like a sigh of relief because I was at my lowest point. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know if I was going to turn back to go to the streets. I didn't know what it was. I was in a place because I worked in corporate America for 16 years. I worked at BET, right?
Hmm.
And after 16 years, they let me go and they gave me $4,000 of severance for 16 years of work. And that's I think I really needed that, because that's when I realized who were work friends and who were friends. And you start knowing that, all you got is God and yourself. So it was a scary moment for me. But when I learned that I got the deal, the deal is never closed until the signature is there, because people pull out of deals all day. So I guess that really affected me when I saw those campers and those honey wagons and those cameras and the lights were there. I'm like, okay, we're really in production right now. It's more than just getting the deal. We're in production. I'm on location with the location scouts. I'm in the writers' room. That's when I knew that I was like, okay, we're really doing something right now.
We're proud of you. We're proud of you. Everybody on here, myself, one of my the CEO, he was like, wow, BET. Yeah. When I heard about that story on how BET treated you, that's like a smack in the
Yeah.
face, but like you said, it was a eye opener.
But you know what? That's just part of the chapter of my story. And
Hmm.
I think any successful person, the story behind them it brings the success. Like, I love Samuel Jackson's story about him smoking drugs or doing drugs behind the Apollo. He had a substance abuse problem. Look where he's at right now. You look at Charles Dutton, who went from jail to Yale, went from being locked up for manslaughter to being a self-acclaimed director and actor. You look at what's his name, Tim Allen from the Home Improvement stories, and he was locked up for selling cocaine for 2 years. You look at Eric Bishop, whose real name is Jamie Foxx, who came to Hollywood and he was homeless. These type of stories and these type of journeys really motivate you, and you appreciate it more.
I agree, and amen on that one. Now, person says, where you at in your life when God
Shout out,
first gave you this
shout out to
vision?
Jamel. Shout out to Jamel Shabazz. Jamel Shabazz actually is the most prolific photographer of our era. He's like our Gordon Parks. You guys must give him his flowers right now. He did the whole campaign for season one. He's on there right now. He has tons of books that you can get, coffee table books that are out of the world. So Jamel Shabazz is somebody else you should get on your platform. Jamel Shabazz is definitely a king of kings. Swiss Beats, Alicia Keys, they all love his. He's done campaigns for everybody, and we were blessed to have him on the first season during the photos.
Jamel Shabazz, I would love to speak to you. Can I inbox you after the show? I would love to speak with you and get you on the show. Because one thing about me, I love to give flowers while we are alive, because when we're
Yep.
gone, nobody sees it.
Without his vision and all those pretty pictures that you've seen in 22 West, that's all Jamel Shabazz. That's his eye.
Thank you. He says, sure. And hey, Tracy, Tracy Lee just stepped in. How are you? So that leads to me when you said Swiss Beats. Another fan says, how was it Swiss Beats chosen for the soundtrack?
Well, there were a lot of people that were trying to be part of this, and then we were courting everybody from Mike Will Made It to DJ Mustard and all these individuals. I love what they're doing, but they didn't have the sound. We needed a New York sound because it's a New York story, and I felt that Swiss, myself and Nina Yang, Bon Jovi, and Forrest, and Chris Brancato, we had this conversation. I just felt Swiss was the way to do it, man, and I'm glad he did, because when I was in the studio and I heard that track with Rick Ross and R.I.P. DMX, I was like, wow, this is it right here. This is it. And Swiss did a phenomenal job. Shout out to him, Grady, Mo. I mean, he painted the picture. He was the one the cleanup hitter that came and painted the sound that you hear.
Yes. Oh, I love it. God rest his soul, DMX. I loved everyone you had on that. Now, with DMX passing, how is the crew handling that? Things to that
Oh,
nature.
it's very sad, man. And DMX on episode 201, DMX did a song for us, so you'll hear it on Sunday, the first episode. I think it's on 201 that he did, but everybody's missing him, his energy, his vibe. I had just did a video for Just in Case with him up in Harlem, by the old Red Rooster. It was myself, it was DMX, it was Rick Ross, it was Forrest, it was Swiss, and he definitely had his energy is uncomparable to any person that I know. R.I.P. to him.
Yeah. Um, I I think I tried to reach out to his camp a month ago, and unfortunately, I've been a big fan from the time he stepped on the scene, and then when he brought Rough Riders and went to the concerts, Summer Jam concerts, and how you hear the growl first before he comes out. Oh, I just
Yeah.
and his prayers. I just love DMX.
Uh, DMX
So
reminded me of a hip hop version of Jimi Hendrix from his pain and his stories and the things that he told. Great music, great sound. It definitely was devastating.
yeah, it was, and the world felt that. We're still feeling it, and for you guys being closer than just the fans, our hearts go out to you guys as well.
Yeah.
Now, Margaret Johnson, did she give you pictures or photos that you could take to keep, or does she have family, loved ones that's still here?
Yeah, I'm here.
I, okay. But Margaret Johnson, is there family members after her, or is
Excuse
she
me?
the last?
Huh?
Is Margaret Johnson, was she the last of the family bloodline, or is there
Um,
grandchildren out
you know what?
there?
You know what? Margaret was an individual that never mentioned anybody else. Margaret was very mysterious in her own way. I'm sure she has, because I'm her godson by default, right?
Mhm.
So the story was really based on a screenplay that she had called Daddy's Little Girl. All right. Herself and Dame Dash were in business maybe for 3 or 4 years, and then that didn't work out. And she had a script that she was writing. It wasn't based on the rap on the Harlem Godfather that Mamie did. Margaret wanted to tell her story through the eyes of her. Margaret was really kind of like a loner. Like she lived on Lenox Terrace. She had a dog, a poodle, and her wheelchair. I don't know if you heard the story when she went downstairs and someone tried to rob her, and she took out a 357 and shot her. That type of individual.
No, I didn't hear that.
Hello? Yeah. So the beautiful thing about it that I liked was that Margaret got to Margaret got to meet everybody. She got to meet all the producers before she passed away, and she gave us her blessings in so many ways, like from recordings to family pictures and things of that sort. So it was a beautiful thing to be able to help her bring this to fruition.
Oh, that is a beautiful thing. And it's a beautiful thing that you still have these photos to pass on. Now, being in and out of so are you looking, this is from one of our fans, are you looking for independent artists for your soundtracks or theme music? If so, how can they send it to you?
Um, well, that would have to be done in the beginning of the season, and that would be going through Swiss, because Swiss is the executive music producer. But the season is already wrapped, so right now we're not taking any type of submissions. But if you look on IMDb, there are two music supervisors, Stephanie Diaz-Mayos and Jordan Carroll. You can reach out to them. But
Okay.
right now, all 10 episodes are closed for music.
Now, how do you look for the right actor or actress to be in the show?
Um, it's basically, we leave that up to when casting comes back. We make like a group decision, and Chris Brancato really knows what he's looking for. Um, the one person that I pushed for hard to get, and that was Nigel Thatch, who's playing Malcolm X. I could really say I was the one that was like trying to convince them to bring him in, and he rocked the audition, and that's what you see right there in front of you. And he doesn't play Malcolm X; he works Malcolm X. That's what he's famously known for saying.
He does. He does.
Yeah.
Now, what can we look forward to for this season?
This season, you're going to be dealing with the French Connection and the drug operation, Malcolm X's rift with the nation, and him leaving the nation. Adam Clayton Powell. It's going to be a lot of crime. It's going to be a lot more action than last season, and the storyline it's really dope how Chris and Paul put it together.
Mm. I love the ending of last season when you made sure to show the brotherhood of when Malcolm was coming out and
Yeah.
then the nation tried to surround him. But then here comes his boy, like, what's up? It's like
Oh,
he's not by himself.
you haven't seen nothing yet. Like this season, you're going to see more of that.
Now, when I was going through, yes, I was going through your IG photos. One of them seemed to have Method Man in it. Can we
Well,
talk about that?
you'll see the first season. Wait till Sunday. You only got 3 more days. Okay, you'll see. But Method Man did an amazing job for the character that he portrayed. You'll see Sunday when it comes on.
Trying to get him on the show too. I'm
Okay.
trying. I'm still pushing for him and Redman because those are the dynamic duos in the rap industry. Now, how is it being that you've been around stars and things to that nature since Father MC, but now you're around, I want to say, big dog actors? How does it make you feel when you first stepped on and you had Forrest Whitaker? You have all of the big heads in one room or
To be
one stage. How does that feel?
to be honest with you, myself and Forrest, we got a personal relationship where, it's beyond Hollywood and Hollywood glamour. If you know anything about Forrest, he does non for profit. He has conflict resolution stuff he's doing out in the Sudan with the child soldiers out in Mexico. So, I never got starry eyed because we started off as a relationship with just uh, a big brother talking to a little brother. You feel what I'm saying? So it
Mm.
wasn't like, oh my God, I got all these other. When you're on set and you're working with people every day, they become friends because this is a character that you portray on TV. It's all make believe, but at the end of the day, when it's the martini hour and it's rap, everybody goes back home and they become their individuals.
Okay. Now, everybody says, I can't wait. Just rewatch the whole season over. I'm with you. I sure did too. Now, what would you like to tell your fans and viewers?
I tell people this, man. Know that I'm a walking testimony. Never give up on your dreams, man. If you dream it, you could definitely achieve it. A lot of people want success, but they're not ready to eat tuna fish sandwiches. They're not ready to eat ramen noodles. They're not ready to sleep on somebody's floor because they can't afford a hotel. They're not even ready to take a buddy pass knowing they got a meeting at Netflix on Monday morning at 8 o'clock, but they got to get out of JFK on Sunday. When you're willing to be able to do that, then success will be there for you. And just go out there, grab your dreams because anything is possible.
Amen. And I forgot who it was, said something about a book. They would like you to write a book.
Oh, that's Big Shell. He's from. Let me tell you something about Sheldon. Sheldon is my family, but my extended family. He was one of the individuals that when I was going through my hard time, his family had opened up their arms and let me stay with them for like about a year and a half, and we had great fun together. Um, great person, and yeah, he wants me to write a book about my life and be able to share my ups, my downs, and my lows, my highs with individuals.
He says, my bro. It's a beautiful thing when you have a village.
Yeah, definitely, the right village.
Now, exactly. Now, if this is too personal, let us know. But a viewer asked me to ask you with the situation with you and your mother. Is she still alive? Have you reconciled from the time of her placing
Yeah,
you out?
my mother is still alive and she's doing well. I love my mother to death. And the reconciliation, I mean, it's something that we work on every day, you know? I mean, it's not an overnight it's not an overnight thing, but it happens. You know what I'm saying? You got to
Mm-hmm.
learn to live and forget, but not to forget, not to live, but never not to forget. You know, so yeah, you know, we're there. We're good.
Good. I understand. My mother and I got into it when I was a teenager. Yeah. So I understand. She was like, okay, you know what? My rules, my house. I was like, well, whatever. She was like, well, then go with your grandmother or your father. I was like, bye. And I packed my stuff. And then she was like, come back home. Where are you? And no. But I learned it's not peachy at daddy's house either. So yeah, no, I understand. I really do. But again, from your trials to tribulations, look at where God has you now. Nothing but flowers, King. We appreciate you bringing the story to the front, not
Thank you.
giving up, letting them know, yeah, I may be down, but I'm back up now.
Thank you for having me.
No, I appreciate it. Anyone else that's on, do you have any other questions while we have them on? But anything else you would like to leave your viewers? Because you know we're looking for Sunday.
Check out Godfather Harlem season 2, April 18th on Epics. And if you want to catch up on the first season, you can binge watch it now because it'll definitely be worth it. We put in a lot of hard work, and I'm sure you guys will be very excited and surprised to see it.
I can't wait. Oh, Shay wants to know what's next.
Oh, I have a bunch of projects that I'm developing right now that I'm working with. It's man, I have a bunch of stuff that I'm working on right now, and when I'm able to talk about it, I will be letting everybody know.
Oh, gotta ask you one more before we go off the line. What are you doing to better the community, or are you part of any fundraisers or things to that?
Right now, I'm working with juvenile offenders and showing them. You know, I do a lot of uh, speeches, and I work with kids, just letting them know, trying to give them some type of enthusiasm, letting them know from my testimony where I came from to where you don't have to go down that route. You know, I mean, I have a lot of friends that have been through the juvenile system from the Central Park Five, Raymond Santana, and those guys. Those are all, you know, we all came up together. We've all seen each other from different boroughs and different places, you know, and, you know, I'm trying to let individuals know that this is not your last hope. You know, just strive, understand, and you know, I'm trying to do the best that I can.
I appreciate that. And I know they do because some have no village. So that's a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Well, we thank you again. We thank you again. Now, is it okay to call you Silk or just keep?
All right. Thank you. Bye bye.
Everybody says they're so proud of you. Thank you for all tuning in. Have a
Thank you.
blessed night.
Thank
And
you.
I wish nothing more but success for season 2. And we will be watching.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Have a great night. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.